Have you ever promised yourself that you were going to take a break from alcohol starting tonight, but then you had a really hard day and by 6 p.m. you find yourself thinking, I'll just have a drink tonight because I really need it, but tomorrow I definitely won't drink anything. If so, today's episode is for you because that promise of I'll start tomorrow sounds incredibly hopeful and determined, and I know you really do want to start tomorrow. You really mean to do that. But that promise is the very thing keeping you stuck drinking more than you want to. You're listening to How to Drink Less, and I'm your host, Adriana Clout. Whether your goal is to cut back, to take a break, or to quit completely, this podcast will help you stop drinking on autopilot, learn how to manage cravings, and feel fully in control around alcohol. It's easier than you think. Listen on to find out how. Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode. Today I'm answering a question from a listener. Someone recently wrote to me and shared that they often have the best of intentions to stop drinking, or at least to take a break, but come evening, inevitably they start making excuses. I'm just going to drink tonight and I will try again tomorrow. That's what they tell themselves. And they keep doing this again and again. By the way, if you want to submit a question for me, my email is in the show notes, so email me anytime and let me know what your specific challenge is, and I might pick your question to answer on a future episode, and especially if it's something that I know will resonate with other people as well. That's exactly why I wanted to answer this question on the podcast today, because so many of us have been there. So many of us keep postponing the thing that we know we need to do or want to do. And postponing is the key word here. When you tell yourself you will do something tomorrow, that doesn't feel like you're giving up. It feels reasonable. It feels almost responsible. Like you're still committed to the goal. You're just delaying it by one day. Tomorrow you is still going to do this. Most definitely. Tonight is just an innocent exception, right? I'll start tomorrow is one of the most convincing lies we tell ourselves, and one of the easiest to stop believing once you see it clearly for what it is. So let's break it down. There are a few hidden beliefs that make I'll start tomorrow sound so appealing and so true. Belief number one is tomorrow will be easier. This is the foundation the whole premise rests on. The unspoken assumption is that today has some special circumstances making it hard. You're stressed, you're tired, something happened, it's Friday, it's been a long week, your friend Megan is celebrating a promotion, but tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow will be a blank slate, calm and easy, and that version of you will just naturally not want to drink. But think about that for a second. Is that really true? Or is it just a story that lets you off the hook tonight? Here's what I know from working with hundreds of people and from my own drinking years. There is always a reason to drink. Every single day, you can find an excuse if you're looking for an excuse. Today, it's your boss was a jerk to you in a big meeting. Tomorrow, it might be your kid was sick and you didn't sleep well. The day after that, a date cancels on you and you feel disappointed. The day after that, it's actually a really good day and you feel like celebrating with a Prosecco. Stress, boredom, disappointment, celebration, exhaustion, a long week, a short week, a rainy Tuesday, a sunny Saturday. There is an endless supply of reasons to want to drink. I know because I use them all. You can keep postponing, but there won't ever come a time when you have zero reasons to drink. So if you're waiting for that day to arrive, it won't. If you're telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow because you believe that it will be easier tomorrow, it won't be. Don't wait for a day to arrive when you have zero reasons to drink because it's not coming. Today is the easiest it's ever going to be to say no to alcohol. So start today. Belief number two is, tonight is too hard to do sober. In some ways, this is the obvious counterpart to the belief that tomorrow will be easier, but it's worth unpacking in its own right. If you find yourself negotiating with the calendar and trying to find an excuse to drink tonight, even though you had previously decided you were going to stay dry, it's because you think that you can't handle tonight without drinking. Whatever tonight holds, loneliness, an argument with your partner, boredom, anxiety about tomorrow, exhaustion after the kids finally go to bed, whatever is going on for you, some part of you believes that that thing is too much to sit with sober. And I want to offer you a question that I think is way more useful than trying to argue with your brain. And the question is, so what if it is hard to stay sober tonight? I'm serious. Let's say it's true. Let's say tonight really is going to be uncomfortable without a drink. So what? Feeling uncomfortable is not an emergency, nor is it a new feeling for you. You have sat through hard feelings before. Anxiety, sadness, anger, grief, plenty of times in your life, in situations where alcohol wasn't an option, and you survived every single one of them. You are not as fragile as that little voice in your head wants you to believe. Discomfort is not dangerous. It's just uncomfortable. And numbing it with a drink doesn't make it go away. It just delays it and usually adds disrupted sleep, a hangover, and regret on top of it, so that tomorrow you're dealing with the original feeling plus the aftermath of your drinking. Alcohol does not eliminate the hard thing that you're facing tonight. It actually just makes it harder to deal with. So instead of asking, how do I avoid feeling this discomfort tonight? A much better question is, can I feel this and still be okay? And the answer is yes, every single time. And it's yes, not just because I say it is a yes. Look back to your own experience and you will remember that I'm right. You have survived every uncomfortable feeling you have ever allowed yourself to feel. Belief number 3 is, tonight is the exception. People think that they're making one exception. You're just going to have a couple of drinks tonight, right? So what is the big deal? It's just this once. But every time you fall for that excuse, you are reinforcing the habit. You're strengthening the association between alcohol and feeling lonely, or between alcohol and stress, or alcohol and celebration, or whatever your reason is for wanting a drink tonight. Every time you say, it's just tonight, you're teaching your brain to continue relying on alcohol. You're becoming more dependent on it. And you're also teaching your brain that your own word doesn't mean anything. If a friend canceled on you every single time you made plans, promising, next time I'll be there for sure, eventually you will stop believing them and you will stop making plans with them in the first place. That's exactly what happens in the relationship with yourself. Every tomorrow that you don't follow through on chips away at your own self-trust. And then, ironically, next time you set an intention, some part of you doesn't even believe you really mean it because you've got a track record of not following through. That erosion of self-trust and self-respect is honestly more damaging in the long term than any single night of drinking. So, now that we have dissected why the promise of tomorrow sounds so tempting, let's talk about what to do so you don't fall for those lies ever again. First, normalize what's happening. You're not broken for wanting to delay an uncomfortable experience. You're human. We all do this. It's the most natural thing in the world to want to postpone any kind of suffering and instead to choose the thing that feels good right now. That's just what it's like to have a human brain. So next time you catch yourself thinking, can't I just drink tonight and start fresh tomorrow? Don't beat yourself up. Show yourself some compassion. Say to yourself, ah yes, there comes that lie. I knew it was coming, and here it is, right on cue. And then remind yourself that you still have a choice what to do next. Even if it sounds really tempting to pour yourself a drink tonight and forget about quitting drinking until tomorrow, that's still not a done deal. You're still the one in control, and you get to choose whether to drink or not. So here's what I want you to do instead. And this is a reframe I love because it flips the whole script on its head. Instead of telling yourself, I'll just drink tonight and I'll try again tomorrow, tell yourself, I'm going to take a break from drinking just for tonight, but I can drink tomorrow if I decide to. Notice what that does. You're not telling yourself you can't drink. You're just choosing not to drink tonight. Alcohol isn't going anywhere, I promise you. It'll be sitting on the same shelf tomorrow, available at the same shops, the same bars. You can still get absolutely sloshed tomorrow if you decide to. So there is no urgency and no scarcity. You're not trying to solve the rest of your life. You're just making a decision for tonight. That's it. This simple reframe takes so much pressure off you because you're not saying no to yourself. You're just saying not right now. And think of it as an experiment. You're trying something out and gathering data. Maybe it will be hard tonight to stay dry, but maybe it will be easier than you expect. You don't know unless you try, and whatever happens, you now know your habit better, and you get to practice sitting with your feelings, and you get to practice keeping your promises. And who knows how you might feel tomorrow? You never know. Maybe you will notice that you slept better if you go to bed sober. Maybe you wake up feeling a bit sharper rather than foggy. And maybe you feel really proud of yourself for keeping your word. You might even decide to take a second night of drinking because that's how good it felt to honor your own commitment to your goals. But even if you choose to drink the next night, that's not a problem. You still will have the experience of this one sober night to learn from, and you will feel stronger because you chose to do something uncomfortable. This is how we grow, by doing the uncomfortable thing that helps us move closer to our goals. That's it for today, my friends. If you recognize yourself in this cycle, the resolve in the morning, the excuses in the evening, please know that you're not weak and you're not failing. You're just running an old script that's never actually been examined. And once you see it clearly, it loses a lot of its power. And if you want to understand why you keep reaching for the alcohol, even though you know you feel better when you don't drink, come to my free class, Never Want Alcohol Again, and I'll teach you the exact things you need to work on to not just quit drinking, but to actually rewire your brain so it stops craving alcohol in the first place. The class is free, so just go to the link in the show notes to find a time slot that works for you, and I'll see you there. Have a great week, my friends, and I'll talk to you soon.